I came home one time and my daughter was like 13 years old. She came back from school. She said, "Dad, you're famous." I said, "What do you mean?" She says, "Well, Jay-Z has you in some of his songs." I said, "That's great. Now, who's Jay-Z?"
Yeah.
Was,
You would hear Jay-Z quoting that he's wearing Stan Smith.
I think every community embraced that shoe. Hustlers, drug dealers.
Wearing a Stan Smith was aspirational.
No one really knows when it began. It feels like it's always been around.
People only know Stan Smith as a sneaker.
Who's Stan Smith?
Who is Stan Smith? Who the hell is Stan Smith?
Today on the show, we are joined with one of the greatest tennis players to ever exist, a fashion icon, humanitarian, and accidental hip-hop legend, Stan Smith. We're talking to him around the release of his brand new documentary, Who is Stan Smith, that you definitely need to check out. Has so many layers, and personally gave me a deeper appreciation to this man's legacy. And in our chat today, we peel back even an extra layer and tap into the heart and soul and hear his thoughts on various subjects of the extraordinary journey of Stan Smith. And yeah, let's get right into it. Just watched the documentary and it's so cool to see how many layers to it there is. Especially like I was born in 1985, so I just kind of missed like your history and tennis and everything. And I'm one of those kids who know you as a shoe. So
right.
yeah, I just kind of want to know how I guess maybe Danny approached you with this film idea and almost like wanting to honor your legacy beyond the things we see on the surface.
Well, I did a book called Stan Smith. Some people think I'm a shoe, and LeBron James and Spring Hill Productions saw that, and Camille was part of the Spring Hill Productions, called me and said, we'd really like to do a documentary. We saw the book, we like it. And the book is really, I don't know if you've seen it or not, but it has all sorts of short stories about tennis, about the shoe, about, friends of mine and kind of my life and career. So they hired Danny to really get into this in a deep way. And Danny was very creative, trying to cover all those layers you talked about. And most people that are around would not have seen me play. So he had to get some footage from that, which is not easy to do. There wasn't a lot of footage in some of those matches that I played during that time, but he was very creative with it, and we had some reels of film here that he was able to use. Some of our State Department tours to Vietnam and to Southeast Asia that Arthur Ashe and I and Donald Dell and Bob Lutz went on. And so we got some of that footage to kind of cover some of that area before a lot of that footage was available.
It's absolutely amazing too, because kind of going into it, I watched the trailer too, and then even watching the documentary, you realize there's even more deeper layers to your story and everything. And it's just like the doc itself that covers sports history, hip hop history, political climates, fashion, everything, almost to the point it's challenging to do an interview with you. It's like I want to talk to you about everything. But one thing like I was kind of thinking of, it's kind of cool how like just your spirit, you're kind of just embrace yourself and go with the flow with things, and whether it leads to great opportunities for yourself or even helping other people. And I kind of want to know if being such a high level tennis player actually connects to your personality, because it's a game where you're just rolling with unpredictability at all times and just trying to be the best you can be. So do you think that kind of like influences the way almost your brain works and how you move through life?
Well, certainly as a competitive athlete, as a pro, whether it's tennis or golf or football, basketball, you've got to be able to be resilient. And in tennis, you have one player winning the U.S. Open out of 128, and so everybody's aspiring to to win that final match. And so you learn that you're going to lose a lot. You've got to figure out why. You got to figure out what your weaknesses are, what your strengths are, then build upon the strengths and shore the weaknesses. And so you learn a lot about life that way. It's not always one trajectory that you go on. You got to you're going to have some ups and downs. I had an injury that was pretty debilitating for about 2 or 3 years with my elbow, and so that affected my career quite a bit. And I was discouraged to a certain point. But I think all those setbacks and challenges, made me a better person, and also made me realize that life doesn't, or the world doesn't revolve around you. I mean, other people are struggling with different things, and maybe more empathetic to circumstances of other people as well, and the fact that you can do things if you're in a position like I am to help other people. So that's been a big part of my life.
Yeah, very, very cool. And I love how, like, just in different ways, your name is kind of trickling through all these different generations, whether it's people who wear like sports shoes or people who listen to hip hop music and everything. And I forget if it was Pharrell or DMC said in the documentary that you kind of just represent the everyday man. And on top of it, you don't have like this big ego, and I think that makes it like even more lovable and wanting to support you in everything you do. And I just kind of want to know, like, what kind of keeps you grounded in life? Do you have any like certain rituals, or was it the sport itself?
Well, I really learned very early on that there's more to life than just tennis
Hmm.
and other things. And so my faith in God and knowing that He had a plan for my life really helped ground me as far as going through those tough times that I had along the way. And obviously, the fact I've had a great wife and great family, 4 children, now 17 grandchildren. I've been
Wow.
blessed. I've been blessed, and so I really appreciate that part of it that's kept me grounded and kept me realizing what's really important in life. And these trophies in the background you might see are reminders of great experiences and great times, but they're not going to keep you satisfied, down the road. So you need to realize what's really important in your life.
It's cool. And even as you put in so much groundwork in your life, whether it is being a tennis champion, having this shoe line, being influences in songs. Right now, as you mentioned, your 17 grandchildren, I was just thinking, I'm like, this is cool because you kind of just put all these other pieces for things to carry on, like family businesses or whatever, if you wanted to pass down the shoes to them or whatever. And is that something you sometimes think about that in are thankful for?
Yeah, no, it's certainly an opportunity to keep it going, and to spend time with my kids and in different business things, and uh, that's been fun as well. But I remember that I came home one time, and my daughter was like 13 years old. She came back from school. She said, "Dad, you're famous." I said, "What do you mean?" She says, "Well, Jay-Z has you in some of his songs." I said, "That's great. Now, who's Jay-Z?" I wasn't really, you know, up to speed, but I certainly got up to speed pretty quickly, and it's been amazing to see the hip hop, to run DMZ with Daryl McKenzie is a fantastic guy, and spending time, a little bit of time with Pharrell Williams to get a chance uh, to encourage him to really be a positive influence upon young people. He has a great opportunity because of his position. So uh, it's great to see people like that making a positive impact rather than a negative impact that others might do.
Yeah, definitely. And yeah, right now we're kind of like talking about the shoes and the music and everything. And you speak about that positive impact, and it shows like even in your travels, just throughout like different political climates and everything the movie shows, you've actually changed the life of some people and helping people kind of get into like better situations too. And that's kind of cool. And was do you still keep in touch? I believe what's his name, Mark?
Yeah, Mark
Yeah.
Montalbani. Yeah, he was a really interesting young kid at 17. And my wife and I helped get over to the United States and go to college, and then he got married, has 3 kids of his own, and one of the great things, he's from Alexandria. It was one of the ghettos over there in Johannesburg, and and from that, he had 3 kids that all went to Princeton, and,
Hmm.
so that was one of the most satisfying things that have happened in our lives, my wife and I, to see him do so well. He wrote a bestseller. Oprah Winfrey had him on the show, um, and he's had a tremendous influence on people as well. A lot of high schools have required, reading that book to understand what's going on in South Africa.
Hmm. Yeah, that's amazing too. And even him naming his son or after you and
Yeah,
middle name after Arthur Ashe. And I think it's
yeah.
funny with Arthur Ashe too, like as I mentioned, I knew you from the sneakers, but I knew Arthur Ashe as a venue, like a tennis arena, you know? So
Oh
it's
yeah,
cool to
yeah.
watch this documentary and get the layers of him as well. And maybe off the top of your head, like he seemed like just such an incredible person. Do you have any like maybe any tidbits of like just like how much he meant to you, or like just like when you hear his name, like the first thing that kind of like think like comes to your head?
Yeah, well, I think of just he won 3 Grand Slam tournaments, but I think of him as more of a even a better person than he was as a player, which is a pretty high compliment. He influenced my life in many ways, and he was very sympathetic with what was going on. He fought for civil rights. He fought to end the apartheid in South Africa, um, and he really did a lot of things, particularly after he got sick. He got the AIDS virus, and even after that, he continued to make an impact to try to help people along the way.
Mhm. Yeah, that's amazing. And I feel like people kind of get the same feeling about you too. It's like maybe people see you as one thing on the surface, whether it's a tennis player or the shoe brand, but then you dig into the layers of the human being and there's way more to it and everything. And I think one thing that was really awesome was I'm a big person who writes a lot of things down, and I noticed in the film you had the 4 points. And
Yeah,
yeah, and I guess like as a final question, the film kind of ends with you point five of goals, and it just said dot dot dot. And
right.
since this film has been made and everything, have you had that fifth goal in mind, or is it still blank for you?
No, well, I continued kind of doing what I've been doing, and I've been involved with various charities and that sort of thing here in South Carolina, even nationally. So my goal really now is to try to give back and to try to help some people along the way. There's a lot of people around that are suffering in different ways, and so uh, if I can help in any way, that's sort of what that dot 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 would be as you go forward.
Hmm. Yeah, it's a beautiful thing. And yeah, I just want to say from watching the film and talking to you right now, your spirit inspired me. Even this talk's like such a great way to start my day and kind of keep that in mind, just the positive energy and just paying it forward and everything. And so yeah, I just want to thank you so much for your time, Stan. It was like such an honor to meet
Sure.
you today. And yeah, I hope you enjoy the rest of your media day.
Well, thank you. And if you put one word there to think about today, think about being grateful
Hmm.
uh, for what you have.
Amazing. That's the word of the day. Thank you so much, Stan. Have a good one. Take care.
Okay, son, nice talking to you.